Hey guys, welcome back to a brand new video. Today we will be reviewing the new movie Fear Street Part 1 of 3. This is Fear Street 1994. It is a film trilogy coming out on Netflix. This is the first one to be released. The next one comes out in like a week or two.
Yeah.
After a series of brutal slayings, a teen and her friends take on an evil force that's plagued their notorious town for centuries. So this movie started out like I was really into it.
Really?
And then it was something completely different. Almost towards the end of the movie, I was like, this is not what I expected based off the beginning of this movie.
I mean, it's definitely what I expected based off the beginning, but I wasn't really into it because you even mentioned it. You're like, is this like related to Scream?
Yeah, it had definitely had that vibe, especially with like the killer, how it moved and kind of how it was dressed and all of that.
Yeah, this is definitely inspired. That was definitely inspired by Scream for sure, that character or whatever. But I don't know, like Scream is so iconic that anything that's remotely close is just gonna be Scream.
Yeah.
Like you can't even have a character like that without it being Scream. Like you just can't.
Yeah, I had it stuck in my head for the longest time throughout this whole movie, like, this is like a Scream movie. And then he was like, it's not a Scream movie. And I'm like, okay, but it just seems like a Scream movie. Like, just how it was all depicted and all of that.
Definitely showed like that part was inspired by Scream for sure. But I was into it in the very beginning, but I wasn't like so into it. Like, this is about to be so good.
I thought it was going to be a really good movie.
Really?
Yeah.
So, obviously this one ends up switching. Ends up more being about these group of friends that basically try to figure out what's going on. And then the main character, I would assume kind of Dina, like her brother was really into this stuff. Like he was like knew the history of everything pretty much. So
he was like in a chat with some other girl.
Yeah, in the chat. So he was definitely into it and was down to like figure this out. And it kind of just takes you along with that. Like it's pretty much them running around the town trying to figure this out.
Yeah.
My biggest issue with this movie though is the fact that I feel like it gets confused on who the audience is. Okay, like in the very beginning, I feel like okay, this is a teen movie for sure. Definitely a teen movie. But at certain parts, it felt almost like a kid movie. Until the killings happened. But like just the crime investigating of what these teens are doing.
At one point he was like, who does he think it is? Who does he think he is, Hildy?
Yeah, no, literally, like it felt like it was a kid show or a kid movie for a little bit, and then it would switch again to a teen and then to adult with some of the more like not really adult but like
young adult
was like kind of intense way of killing somebody or this or that. And I'm like, he just keeps flipping. There's no like clear audience to me. Overall though, I think the movie was okay.
Yeah.
Like it wasn't a trash movie, but it wasn't like you have to watch this. It's so good. I did think some of the killings were cool, and that's where I feel like it was more older. And
kind of surprising on some of the people that were killed. I didn't think some of the people were gonna die than like the main characters at least.
Yeah. No, for sure. That was also cool. And apparently this is based off of a book. So we never read the books, so I don't know how close or off or whatever it is from the books.
I think it's cool how Netflix is doing something like this though, like an event.
It's different for sure.
Yeah.
Movies you don't have to wait like a year or two. Yeah. Like this is literally a week apart. I do think that's cool, and I'm interested to see if it gets better. I actually do think the next one looks better off the little preview.
Yeah.
It looks more interesting.
I was gonna say that the second one definitely looks better than this one and more adultish than this one, but it kind of reminds me, just off of the preview we seen at the end of this one, it just reminds me of American Horror Story, the newest season that came out, the summer camp one. I just get that vibe from it for some reason.
Another thing about this movie, it kind of threw me off with like it being this one witch that's like doing all this stuff, and then there's like multiple dead serial killer people, but they're alive now, and it's like it started throwing me off at that point,
especially from the beginning. Like that kind of just set it up a little bit, because the guy that died in the beginning is one of the ghosts that come back to kill the girl that avenged, or whatever you want to say, the witch. But yeah, I feel like there wasn't really a need for the beginning, because we didn't see how the other two people died.
Yeah, I think the beginning does throw you off a little bit, because you think it's going to be a certain way if you didn't know the story already or seen the trailer. But like I said, I think there was some cool killings. The ending of the girl's head going through the thing was pretty intense for sure. And
just the fact that she literally had to drown her. Imagine going into that. Like, I have to drown you, but I want to bring you back to life. I need to drown myself.
Yeah. No, that's too crazy.
And hope that I survive this. And I thought Dina was going to have doubts when she saw her brother on the ground about to get stabbed.
And then, but the crazy thing is though, obviously at the end of this one, you see like, she literally tried to kill her.
Yeah.
And they started fighting in the kitchen.
And there's I don't know if this will hold you back, but I feel like being wrapped in a telephone cord isn't going to hold you back.
But yeah, anyways though, that's going to be our review on Fear Street Part 1, 1994. We will do a review for Fear Street Part 2, which I think goes back in time to to the 80s, I think, or 70s.
70s.
So we'll do that once that drops, which is not that long, so you guys are gonna wait that long. But before we go, though, obviously we got to give you our rating.
So I'd give this first one a 69 because I wasn't really into it. Like, I was in the beginning, like, that's what got me. And then it just went downhill from there. That was, like, the best part of the whole movie to me.
For me, I think I'd probably give it like I was going to go pretty close to that. I'll say a 65. Like she said, the beginning it started off pretty good. I was into it. And I was still into it, even though when it switched. But once all these other killers started coming about, it kind of went downhill for me with that. And I really didn't enjoy that. I thought the ending was getting pretty good, though. Just how people were dying, and it was getting kind of crazy.
Like, they didn't care who died.
Yeah,
Someone died.
It's like everyone was dying. Yeah, I still enjoyed it. I just didn't love it. But yeah, either way, though, that's our review, Fear Street Part 1, 1994. If you enjoyed the video, definitely leave a like. We appreciate that. Subscribe if you haven't already, and comment down below your thoughts on the film if you have seen it. And if you haven't, you better hurry up because Part 2 is coming out. But yeah, either way, though, my name's Matt.
My name's Nicole.
And we'll catch you next time.